Time to steer the line.
Touchdown!
Sports betting, fantasy football, and the latest NFL news. Featuring Loud-Esmond, Christian Giordani, Rocky Giordani, and Jeremy James. Bet on us to make you a better.
What?
Let's get ready to steer the line.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another segment of Steer Line. I'm your host and stats analyst, Christian Giordani. Alongside of me today is my father, Rocky Giordani, our ex-professional athlete on the show today. How you doing today, Pop?
Good, man. Good. As you know, I'm traveling. Your mother and I are traveling.
Yes,
and
sir.
so I'm happy to make the show today. Missed a few Fridays, but it's going to be back. Great weather, man. All good, man.
Let's hop
How
right
you
in.
doing?
I'm doing good, and you know what? I just found a crazy stat today that you're gonna love.
Okay.
Since
All right.
2015, Todd
Okay.
Gurley has scored the 7th most touchdowns in the league in almost 100 games less than every active player right now.
Really?
79
Todd Gurley.
touchdowns in 5
Wow.
years.
Wow. Yeah. They just handed the ball.
Yeah, that
You know what I
speaks
mean?
the other dominance of his career.
Rams have a tradition of some amazing running backs. If you just look at what they've had, Eric Dickerson. I mean, even Jerome Bettis there for a while. Todd Gurley, he's one of the top. I don't know. You could argue where you'd put him in history, but he was a great running back. This guy, if he hadn't gotten injured, man, he was on his way to a super Hall of Fame career. I'm glad he got paid. He was our boy. But man, that was tough. His injury was tough. It really cut short a career that would have been amazing. Not too much unlike I believe Adrian Peterson's career was damaged by that torn ACL, even though he came back and had 400 yards.
2,000 yards. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Insane season. All right, let's jump right into NFL news. We have some tragic news followed by some bittersweet results. Chiefs BJ Thompson, the defensive end, suffered a seizure that caused him to go into cardiac arrest yesterday afternoon at Chiefs minicamp. Fortunately, he woke up today responsive and conscious, aware of his surroundings. So good news, we'll follow more how it leads with more results going ahead. But Rocky, any opinions to share on that?
Yeah, listen, I got to tell you, having been out there, it doesn't have to be 2,000 degrees, man. 98 degrees. I don't know what the weather's like in Kansas City. I imagine right now it's pretty darn hot. I mean, I know it gets it up over 100, and you have to hydrate. You can't stress enough. And forcing those kids and not keeping enough eye on them, this is something that the players have complained about forever. A seizure is a one-time thing. It's over. It lasts for a few minutes and it's over. But it sent him into cardiac arrest. This tells me he was not just dehydrated, but past the point of somebody should have. I don't know. You wish somebody could have seen it coming. That's too bad. I'm glad he's responsive and well. How long do they expect him to be out?
No results, no comments have been made since this day. It's only been a day since it's happened, so we'll follow along.
Seizures are a lot more common in professional sports practices than they let on. They don't always report them. They just, nobody needs to know. It was just a seizure. He's fine. He's up. He drank water. He's sitting down. He's good. Getting home and sleep. And they're back practicing the next day. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So it happens a lot.
Yes. Before we head on to our NFL contract news, Rocky, I understand you have a quick shout out you want to say real quick.
Oh, my buddy. Listen, they call me the Mata Burro. I'm the burro killer. So in 2023, when I had to buy my new truck, my old truck broke down. Didn't have mechanics. Somebody stopped. A young lady stopped, gave me a ride back to San Felipe. I was at the Ruta de Vino, leaving Ensenada, right? And this guy said, "We got to get your truck now or they'll steal it." Went back. Everything had been stolen out of my truck. He said, "Dude, another hour, your truck would have been gone." So he towed me back, fixed my truck, delivered it to me. You know what I mean? So then I'm coming back down to Costa Rica, and I'm driving down to Puerto Vallarta to put my truck on the boat to send it, right? And I hit a cow and destroyed my truck. So he says, "Look, where are you?" I'm like 700 miles away from you. He goes, "Don't move. I'll come get you." Gets up in the middle of the night, get this car come down. This guy's name is Rodolfo Romo. He's in San Felipe, Baja California. He saved my bacon. So what happens? I go pick up my new truck, my brand new truck, after getting it fixed after hitting a cow. $16,000 worth of damage. I'm driving down here again, and I hit a burrow. I hit a damn burrow. So perforated my radiator. So I call Rodolfo. He comes out, gets my radiator, takes it back, gets it fixed, bringing my parts back to me. Look, there are mechanics, and then there's guys who will do whatever they can to get you out of a fix. And he's not charging me a bunch of money. He's not doing it for the money. He goes, dude, pay for my gas. I'll come get you right now. He's that kind of guy. Rodolfo Romo, San Felipe, if you need a mechanic, especially a diesel mechanic. The guy is awesome. Christian family, good dude. Thank you, Rodolfo Romo, for everything. Hey, man.
Moving on.
Rams have made some great moves in the offseason.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
So listen, I'd like to hit on the Rams a little bit, but you got some other. There's some other signings that are probably more important right now, right? Justin Jefferson.
Yes. Justin Jefferson became the highest paid non-quarterback in the in NFL history. His new contract extension keeps him all the way in Minnesota till 2028. It's 4 years, $140 million, $88 million guaranteed at signing, and a total guaranteed money is $110 million. He's getting a paid of average of $35 million a year. And just for reference, comparing that to NBA numbers, that's what Jordan Poole, sixth man for the Washington Wizards, is getting paid.
Yeah.
So if your kids are really athletic, put them in sneaker shoes, everyone.
Get him in the NBA. Well, listen, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Me with my 2-inch vertical jump. You know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't have to worry about me dunking on anybody.
So back to Jefferson. Obviously a great talent, hands down the best wide receiver in football so far.
And you broke the internet by saying he wasn't.
Yes, I did about 2 years ago. But Justin Jefferson, highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Does he deserve every penny of that?
Listen, it depends on who you ask. You know, I suppose if you're Minnesota and you're in the position they are, they don't really have anybody to throw to him right now. So I don't know what the big squawk is, but I got to tell you, we go back to a couple of years ago when you broke the internet because Justin Jefferson made a crack about being better than Cooper Kupp. Now Cooper Kupp, nobody knows how many. He started off with missing a few games with a hamstring injury, but we don't know what injuries he struggled through last year. Okay, now we know that he had a rough season, a couple rough ones because of the injuries and stuff. But you don't know how many injuries. I've been talking to the Rams camp, and there were a lot more things going on with his body than ever. Here's what Cooper Kupp says: there's a first time he's gone to training camp feeling 100%. So we'll see who. I'm gonna delay my answer to does Justin Jefferson deserve all that money till after we see Cooper's numbers this year. I think Cooper Kupp has a better year this year. Matthew Stafford, again, he was also these guys are playing through injuries all the time. But last year, Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp both played through some really painful stuff. They were in pain all the time. Now, so that's where I'll leave it right there. But they're both feeling good, and I want to see what happens this year. I want to see that Cooper Kupp's numbers this year with a healthy Stafford and a healthy Cooper Kupp.
Of course.
So ask me next year.
I'll ask you again same time next year. Obviously, if you're Minnesota, you've been hearing all the talks about Justin Jefferson wanting to walk away, not liking the situation he has in Minnesota right now with Kirk Cousins gone. What do? You bring out the big bucks and you keep him here for the next half decade. And the way his contract's set out is almost perfect in my eyes. He's on the last year of his rookie deal coming up in 2024, which equals out to $8.5 million against the cap. And now his extension brings in, he's making 15, then 39, and then for the following 3 years after that, it's $4 million increments of increase every year. So
this is deja vu all over again. This is what they did with Randy Moss. And then they didn't have no one to throw to him. Dante Culpepper, I'm sorry, not a Hall of Famer. Good guy, good quarterback, played hard, very tough guy. And then some other dudes. Randall Cunningham threw him to him for a little while. But
love Randall
Cunningham. The point is you spend all your money on a receiver and you have no one to throw to him. And not until Randy Moss went to New England for the last end of his career did he finally show everybody what he could really do with a quarterback. So good luck. Good luck. You got paid. Good luck getting a chip in Minnesota with they can't afford a quarterback now. So we'll see.
Yep. Going on to the next highest paid player at their position, your boy Christian McCaffrey is now the highest paid running back in NFL history. How do you feel about that?
He deserves it. Here's a guy who needed to get paid. This guy, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. Have you seen his workouts? I've followed his workout routine. He trains like a guy who wants to be the best. He's not just trying to build muscle. He works on speed. He works on longevity. He's very durable. This is a guy that, boy, if there was one guy on that roster they needed to keep, it was McCaffrey.
Yep. Christian McCaffrey's contract is ongoing from what he had from Carolina. That was, I believe, 4 years, $64 million at the time. And he's on the last 2 years of that deal up until the 2025 season. And then his new extension kicks in, which is 2 years, $38 million. And in 2026, he's only going to get paid about $10 million, which is the league average for top 10 running backs currently. And then here's where the big numbers come in, $25 million in 2027. And once that contract's over, he has 3 void years of $14 million spaced out.
Right. Now, so basically what he did when he signed this extension was, and with the money that the way they worked it, he signed a 2-year extension, but it's a 4-year contract, and he's going to get paid. He's getting money for 4 years now. So yes. I think it gives him some security. I don't know what's guaranteed in the last year. That would be the important one because he turns 30.
This brings him all the way to his 31-year-old season, and he gets $24 million guaranteed at signing in total as well.
Now, so that's what's important was getting guaranteed money when you're into your 30s because, at 30 you're supposed to hang it up if you're a running back. That's it. When you're done.
Once you hit 30, it's basically 100 running back years. Yeah. All right, we got a few more contracts going ahead. Jalen Waddle, probably the best number 2 option in the AFC, gets his own extension as well. 3 years, $84.7 million, 76 guaranteed in total. Wow. Probably the fastest guy in the NFL aside from Tyreek Hill, maybe. Yeah. And you can make the argument for that.
Yeah, I'd say nobody's faster than Tyreek, but he's right there. But yeah, he's the second fastest guy, second fast guy, and their number 2 receiver.
Yeah,
that's where I see it.
Tyreek is also up there on the list of the highest paid wide receivers in NFL history. And towards the end of this contract, Jalen Waddle is going to be making around the same amount of money Tyreek Hill is. 19 million, 21 million, then up to 27. And then in the final year of that contract, it's going to be up to $31 million.
Great. So if Tyreek Hill stays a Dolphin and doesn't retire,
yes,
then they will have that's how you. This is how you concert a good 1 and 2. You guys are both making about the same amount of money. You're both making, getting about the same amount of touches. You're both your speed is comparable. I think they're going to get along just fine. I think this is how you concert a good number 1, 2. These guys have nothing to bitch about, right? No beef at all.
No beef at all. Tyreek Hill is a Dolphin until 2026. Together, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill for the next 3 years are going to be eating up about 25% of the cap themselves. And now Tua Tagovailoa is going to be a free agent at the end of this year. So if you're the Miami Dolphins, Tua hasn't been able to get it done in the late years in February. He hasn't been able to be good in the playoffs. What do you do if you're Miami? You have 2 receivers that are taking up a big portion of your cap. Tua is in line to get some big money if he gets another regular season like he has previously. What do you do if you're the Miami Dolphins? Do you move on from Tua? Do you sign the money? Do you look to a trade to get compensation?
Yeah, once again, you just signed 2 of the best backs, two of the best receivers in the NFL. Somebody has to be there to throw to them, or you just shot yourself in the foot. They have to keep Tua. Unless they can, I don't know, unless Tom Brady's coming back. I mean, Tua's not that good. I mean, not like that, but he was up there in the MVP conversation for the first 15 weeks of the season, right?
Yep.
Listen, whatever happened at the end of the season you can't just put it on Tua if you're not going to put it on Dak and Kurt Cousins and everybody else. You know what I mean? Only very few teams advance to the playoffs and then on deep into the playoffs. So, if Tua didn't make it deep into the playoffs, well, neither did a lot of really good quarterbacks who are getting paid. I think they need to keep Tua. Yes.
And moving on to the final contract extension of the day. Probably my favorite contract so far. Nico Collins for the Houston Texans gets a 3-year, $72 million contract. He just blew up out of nowhere last year, man. Giving us great numbers this year. Here, let me bring him up real quick. 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, 80 receptions, and he caught 58% of the balls that came to him. Big plays coming up this year. And he has a really, really fine set contract, in my opinion, as well. $6 million on the last year of his rookie deal. Being a later round guy in the 3rd round, that rookie extension is a lot cheaper than what you would get guys like Jalen Waddle, Justin Jefferson, who were in the 1st round.
Yeah.
And then going ahead, he's getting paid $18 million, $24 million, and then 26, never exceeding more than 8% of the cap percentage by himself, which is compared to Stephon Diggs' contract. We obviously know a few weeks ago he restructured his contract with the Houston Texans, reducing that 4-year, $96 million contract into a 1-year, $28 million contract, then deferring $16.6 million of the contract for the next 4 years with the Texans through 2025 and 2028. So in 2025, he's going to be breaking down his contract for about $4.1 million every year for the next 4 years.
Well, listen, this has become very popular now, this deferring money, and it helps your team a lot. And I think the first guy to do it, shout out to Patrick Mahomes for laying the groundwork for that. For everybody, I mean, it gives your team the ability to sign some other guys and maybe be able to compete. All right.
So for some perspective, if let's say Stephon Diggs never extended that contract into those void years that we were talking about earlier, his contract compensation against the cap would reach about 13%. And for a single player, that's huge.
That's too much.
That's a big chunk. Spaced out the way it is, it's 1.4 on average every year. So it's awesome. It's great for the Houston Texans, especially such a young team. And it's great for Stephon Diggs. He becomes an unrestricted free agent on a playoff caliber team, on a Super Bowl caliber team, in my opinion, going ahead. And that's every contract we have so far. Rocky, anything you want to say on them before we leave or before we move on?
On which? No.
On Nico Collins' contract.
No. Good signing.
Moving on to Rams news. Go on ahead. Take it away.
Oh, go for Rams. I was going to do 49ers first.
Oh, let's do 49ers.
In my mind, the 49ers had the best offseason because they went to the Super Bowl, right? And a lot of people think that when Dre Greenlaw got sidelined with an injury, it might have cost them the Super Bowl. So they've gone on to address some of their weaknesses and that one as well. The biggest thing they did, I believe, I know you don't like this, they signed Leonard Floyd as defensive end. Now, Leonard Floyd is going to give them some great pass rush opposite of Nick Bosa. No denying it. The guy, I know you don't like him because he left the Rams, but he did really good. They went out and got Devondre Campbell as a linebacker. Now this is one of the guys that they needed to get somebody to go to the weak side because Greenlaw's out. When Greenlaw comes back, Campbell can go to the slot or go to the strong side. You know what I mean? It depends on what kind of defense they're running. They went and got a defensive tackle, Malik Collins from the Texans, right? Yeah, he came from the Texans. Yeah. They signed a couple other defensive ends. The guy they had, they re-signed their guards, but they also went and got some help at the safeties. They drafted a receiver. What's the name? Pearsall. They went and got a receiver. Now I don't know what they're going to do with Brandon Ayuk, but it looks like he may not be coming back, man.
Yeah.
They're pretty high on this kid Pearsall. He is one of the most athletic receivers that I've seen come out of the draft in a long time. Super athletic. So I guess they might be moving on from him. But they went and got a quarterback, Rock Ya-Sin. Now they have their quarterback, Sharavius Charvarius Ward. Sorry, I have
Chardavius Ward.
Yeah, and Demodore Lenoir. Okay, so Ward and Lenoir, whatever. Those are their two starting cornerbacks. But they went out and got him some help. They got a guy, Isaac Yodom. That's another one. They signed him. He's a ex-Saints cornerback. They needed help at the cornerback position. They got it. That's what I'm saying. They filled all their needs, man. So now if we go back to the Super Bowl, I'm saying that that was the injury that cost them, and now they've got some help for Greenlaw because he's not coming back. Now the Rams went out and got Tre'Davious White. They needed cornerback. They needed
huge signing, yes.
Huge signing, man. Now they've got Kendricks and Kobe Durant, Darian Kendricks and Kobe Durant. Yes. So they've got their veterans there, but this guy's a plug and play, and they needed him really bad. They went and got Garoppolo to back up
Stafford.
You saw what happened when Stafford missed a game. What was his name? Rypien's nephew. Yeah, came in, scored 3 points. Rypien, yeah. And it was bad. They got Darius Williams from the Jaguars, another cornerback. So I like it, and they got a safety. They went out and got a safety.
Kamal Curl, yes.
Yeah, they went and got Cameron Curl. They signed him for 2 years or whatever it is. Now, I don't think that there's any risk to any of these players because the contracts aren't that big. You know what I mean? And they got some veterans they can plug in. So the Rams and the 49ers have both had great off seasons, and I think they both had a really good draft. Cooper Kupp is healthy. Matthew Stafford's healthy. They got Jimmy G to back him up if he needs to sit down for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They went and got the Lions guard, Jonah Jackson.
Huge.
This guy's a stud.
Steal.
This guy's a stud, man. They signed the Seahawks tight end, Colby Parkinson, because we all know Tyler Higbee got hurt. He's out for we don't know how long.
Another full season.
You think the full season?
Yeah. Projected to week 16 to come back. So basically the full season.
Yeah. Okay. So they went out and got a really good tight end to plug. But neither veteran guys can plug right in. And they re-signed their guard Kevin Dotson, trying to keep Matthew Stafford upright. Appears to be what they're doing with all these offensive line signings, and they went out and got some defensive line guys that are going to be very experienced veteran guys who can plug right in and they can play right away. I'd go over all the signings, but we don't have, in the interest of time, I won't name them all. But they went out and got some defensive linemen. But I think the cornerback signings are the big ones. I mean, they went and got offensive guard too. I can't remember his name right now.
KJ Dotson, Kevin Dotson.
Right. Yeah.
Great re-signing for the next 3 years as a Ram. That means they moved Steve Avila, their rookie, all-rookie first-team guard, to center now. And that's just became a stack line. Rob Havenstein's at the tail end of his career, but he's really, really still a solid right tackle. It's like they're going to move him over to the left side and bring in the rookie they drafted in the 3rd round this year.
This guy you're talking about, he can move around in that. He can move around in that line. He can move around. He can play several positions there, which is extremely.
So he's not a big guy, so he will not play tackle. He's about 6'5", 330, which is real fun to say in perspective. Not a big guy.
Wow.
Yeah. But he can definitely move on the interior of the line. He can move from right to left guard, and now they have him at center. And from what I've heard from reports, he was struggling early in minicamp, adjusting to center. But Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, of course, have been working with him, and he said he finally feels comfortable in that role.
I have to do another quick one. Lou-Desmond is not here today, so I'm going to mention David Carr.
David Carr, best quarterback in the NFL.
Free agent. He probably will not be a Saint next year, right?
Yeah. But that's for another week, another show way down the line.
Loud. You're good, buddy.
All right. So we talked about the signings between probably the best two teams in the NL West.
Yeah, no doubt.
Last year, their records weren't that. Yeah, their records weren't that far apart. 11 wins compared to 12. Do the Rams, with the improvements they made, have a chance to steal the division from the reigning?
Yes, they they're getting no love from anybody. Everybody's saying the Rams might win 8 games. Man, they didn't give them a lot of love last year either. Before before the year started. But there were a lot of complications. A lot of things went into that season last year, and they had a hell of a year. They finished strong, So I expect a lot more from the Rams this year. Can the Cardinals catch the Rams sleeping because the Cardinals improved? No. Oh, by the way, the Pastronaut went to the 49ers also.
Yes. Josh Dobbs is the new backup.
That's a big signing.
That was one issue they had last year,
Yeah,
they didn't have a backup quarterback when Brock Purdy could have got injured.
Well, they had Sam Darnold, but they lost him.
1 minute.
He went to the Vikings.
Yes, he went to the Vikings.
So he'll be throwing to our $1 trillion wide receiver.
Yeah. My prediction next year in the NL West, the Rams will steal the NL West from the 49ers.
Yes. You go, boy.
Let's go on ahead. All right, everyone. This has been Steer the Line. We will see you guys next week for another offseason NFL analysis.
Yeah.